I guess we'll just go into the Dylan Mulvaney thing since we're on this sort of cultural topics, and we'll get to the other stuff next. But so there's this like balance of how much do you talk about this, because you talking about it is going to elevate that person, but at the same time they already have tens of millions of followers, and even if they didn't, the reason why I know about Dylan Mulvaney, because I'm not in that sort of algorithm on TikTok where he would just naturally pop up in my feed. The reason why I know about Dylan Mulvaney is because these big brands like Ulta decided to post him and uplift him. And then people started looking deeper into his videos and him, going through the woods and his hiking hills and stuff like that. Now this brought Dylan on and he interviewed Joe Biden. And you don't get more legit than sitting down and interviewing the president of the United States. So I think if people, we cannot draw attention to this. That doesn't mean it's just going to all go away. Because these major brands are still using them to virtue signal, and you still have these really high institutions of power that are gung-ho on making them a thing. So it's a two-edged sword, because the more people on the right push back, people on the left push back even harder, just to be resentful, just to be frank. Also this, if you don't stand up, then these voices will just speak up and overrun the majority of the world who thinks this is all nuts. And then they'll be so loud, and then the media and academia and entertainment and the president, all these folks will be speaking so loudly that there's going to be people afraid to speak up, which we already see that now. People write all the time in my comments, like, I'm glad you are saying this. There are people who stand with you. They are just too afraid to say something. And they're in positions where if they said something, they will, could lose their job or lose scholarships or there's real stakes for some people out there. And if people don't push back and say enough is enough, it's just going to keep going in a particular trajectory. There's a video by Jeffrey Marsh that he put out. I don't know if he put it out this weekend, but it got traction this weekend.
Let me tell you something about LGBTQ rights, about trans rights. This is only going in one direction. You will respect us. You can be upset. You can be angry. You can think it's unfair. You can feel like we're stealing something from you, but it's still only going in one direction. You will respect us.
That was his demand of us. That if you don't know Jeffrey Marsh, I've done some videos on Jeffrey Marsh, but he's a creepy guy who says there's no such thing as biology and boys and girls. There's no such thing as boys and girls. He says the hey kids guy, him. So he said, you will respect us. This is only going one way. And they expect that it's only going to go one way. So if you don't push back against it going the way of shut up and surrender and submit, then that's precisely what's going to happen. So I don't want to talk about this all the time. I particularly don't want to talk about this person all the time, despite how many clicks and views and stuff that he garners. And like I said, it's a two-edged sword. And I'm sure that's one reason why it's for sure a reason why his popularity is for sure a reason why Budweiser and these folks go to them. But if we don't stand up and say we don't appreciate this to those brands and stuff, then it's just going to keep exploding and we'll have no options. So Dylan Mulvaney, it popped up that he was doing brand stuff for Budweiser. So I will show you the weird ads that he did and kind of explain how, at least on my end, how these kind of things come about. Because people are like, oh, he's a new brand ambassador. I don't know or if someone said he's a new face of Budweiser and stuff, it's not that deep that I think they're like gonna put him on TV or something. You'll see Dylan in a Super Bowl ad or something. Like I don't think it's going that deep, but there's different structures on TikTok for people who are influencers for the brands to set up and make, money and stuff. So let me show you the content and then we will go from there. So one of these things is so freaking weird. It's one of the weirdest things. This is the least weird, not the least, but the less weird one.
Impressive carrying skills, right? I got some Bud Lights for us. So, I kept hearing about this thing called March Madness, and I thought we were all just having a hectic month, but it turns out it has something to do with sports. And I'm not sure exactly which sport, but either way, it's a cause to celebrate. This month, I celebrated my day 365 of womanhood, and Bud Light sent me possibly the best gift ever, a can with my face on it. Check out my Instagram story to see how you can enjoy March Madness with Bud Light and maybe win some money too. Love ya! Cheers! Go team! Whatever team you love, I love too. Okay. Love ya. Okay, break a leg. Woo!
Such a weirdo. If you're doing a March Madness thing, it probably he has 10 million followers, so I mean, opportunity for them to do whatever. But if you're doing March Madness thing, which obviously they're partnering and doing something with March Madness, because a lot of people who watch sports will drink alcohol, and that all kind of goes together. So using Dylan, who does not apparently, at least as his character, doesn't know what March Madness is, wouldn't that be like in normal circumstances for ads like an issue? But I don't know. I'm not a big sports person. I don't, the only thing that I was consistently watching was like American Ninja Warrior. I've never sat down and watched a Super Bowl or anything like that. I used to come in and watch commercials. Now I just don't care. So I'm not a big sports person. There's a stereotype of women not being into it, but a lot of women really love sports. A lot of women are really, really into it. So he's not the best brand ambassador for their actual target market. I'm also not an alcohol person. I've never had any at all. I don't like how it smells. I don't like how it makes people act. I'm leaving this world stone cold sober. So this is like totally not my juice at all. But here's the weird one. Less
than 96 minutes. We thank you for your patience.
Sorry, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, please hold.
Okay, that was it. I saw someone say on Twitter it was legitimately the weirdest thing they've ever seen in their life. That was weird, and he's a dancer, so at least a tapper, right? So what the heck was that? Just a rhythmless blob of gross. Like it's just, there's lots of questions. Like how many women sit around and jury in a bra in their bathtub? It's not normally a thing. It's really weird, guys. I don't have a lot of commentary to dive into how weird it is. I think it's pretty evident, but TikTok doesn't set that up. There's like different notifications and rules or whatever that you do, but the brands will find people that they want to work with, and they will give you some kind of offer, and can go back and forth negotiating whatever, but you can accept the offer, and they'll have different stipulations, and that's basically it. Like from so I've done it before, and like a brand just reaches out, and you accept it, and they have different things that they want you to say in the ads, different things that they want you to do, and then they approve it, and that's kind of it. Budweiser, like corporately, were they thinking, oh yeah, we got to get Dylan Mulvaney? It might not even like be that deep. I mean, there's someone who's over that, reaching out to people to do stuff for sure. But I don't know how deep they even. He is a big brand, so I don't know how people could not know. But they might not think that deeply about his actual content to be like, I don't know, that might like tank us. Because I think some people reach out in mind to people who are in their niche, who would them reaching out and saying something to their customers would do something for their clients. But in the case for the ones that I did, it had really nothing to do with the kind of content that I produced at all. And some accounts that they use, they weren't even like really big as well. So it might not be that personal or that deep on Budweiser's part. So people ready to pull out the pitchforks for Budweiser, I still think that people should know, like, bruh, this ain't cool. But I just do want to put that perspective there. People probably expect me to just come in here and just rip them. Like, this is all weird. I don't like Dylan, but I just want to let you know a little bit of that peek behind the curtain of what goes on. There's a possibility that they're like, oh yeah, we got to get Dylan because he's so popular, and we want to really reach that audience. But it could be there's someone in the company who does stuff with TikTok. He has a huge account with 10 million followers, and they wanted people to know about the participation March Madness thing, and didn't think that deeply about it. Now, should marketing people reaching out doing stuff for paid sponsorships and whatnot think a little deeper on it? I think so, but I don't know how deep they think about this stuff on TikTok. So just want to add that 2 cents in that perspective. However, Budweiser does have other stuff where they clearly do want to do some particular marketing toward the LGBT, and so this is a can that they did. This is what and you got Bethany here. Mandel said this is what happens when you use a marketing and advertising agency that has never met one of your customers. So I think people who are in the LGBT community obviously drink Bud Light, but is like that. Is Dylan Mulvaney, their core sort of audience that Dylan allegedly doesn't know what March Madness is. This is not their core sort of audience. So stuff like this, and I understand that you want to make people feel included in whatnot, but if you need to go out of your way to make stuff like that to make people feel included, then you've probably done a bad job as a brand, period. If you need a rainbow on a can for people to know who are gay that it's okay to drink a Bud Light. That's probably, you failed somewhere in your company product, in your brands or whatever. And if you have a good enough product, it doesn't care. People don't care anyway. Do you know how many people who try to cancel Chick-fil-A, and I see LGBT people are like, y'all better leave that chicken alone. Like, I will go to Chick-fil-A. I don't care. I don't care what them Christians say. Like, leave the chicken alone. So this kind of stuff isn't necessary, but it's for virtue. It is, and sometimes negative press, you get people who might want to protest or not buy it, but then you get a boost of people who want to support you because you did it. And then it's also a question of how many people are going to stick to their guns and really be like, I'm going to teach this company a lesson. People say that, but people, get tired real quick. But again, this is, not my thing. But companies are doing it all the time. I'm not big on makeup. So the Ulta thing, I've been inside of an Ulta store, but I don't know if I've bought anything in an Ulta store. I usually go to a corner store or something, a beauty supply store or something, and pick up a few things. But people boycotted Ulta. People were mad at Tampax. I don't use Tampax. When they started doing stuff with Dylan. Now that is super weird. And Dylan knew it was weird when Tampax reached out to him, because he actually did TikTok responding to the weirdness of it. So that was really, really weird. And they sent it to him. So they deserve some ire from that. A lot of people do this stuff for virtue. Again, I don't want to talk about this stuff all the time. I wish it wasn't so everywhere. But if people don't say something and stand up to this stuff, and again, it's a two-edged sword, people will react badly just because we're talking about it. So I don't, there's a balance we're still trying to figure out, I think. But if you're just silent and let the world be taken over, and Jeffrey Marsh said this stuff has one trajectory, if we just stay silent forever, you're going to prove him right. You're going to prove him right. Okay. So we gotta do something. So again, freaking weird. Dylan is so fortunate that this is such a fad, because that little dance in the bathtub and I don't know, some people find him to be funny. He's just a blob of weird to me, and a very annoying person. But there's a lot of people who like his humor, but I think a lot of it is just the glow of people feel like defending and sticking up for him and clapping like a trained seal. That gives them virtue. And I don't need to buy any. So I'm not interested in being a trained seal, I suppose.
Thank you for watching my video. Make sure you go to blacktnews.com and check out different articles, different videos, and also check out our merchandise. If you like what I do, you can also support at the website on the donate page. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and also that notification bell. God bless.